Cube gonna ult.
Oh yeah,
Italy
1-on-3 is going a bit deep here.
He can't keep getting away with it. He can actually do no wrong.
TP from Adam. I think he might have done wrong. I think he might have done a bit.
More relevant amidst the pit. They're gonna bet it all in this moment. Malrang is finally here, and he gets it.
Why no flash? Why no flash?
Slow.
Why no flash? Why is that? Look who fight.
Okay, wait, go in W.
We win the fight. Are they? I don't know flash. I'm gonna go key. Okay, nice.
Bro, this guy is so f***ing bad, bro. I'm laughing.
Welcome back to the LEC. What the hell was that clip? Well, we have a 3-game series and BDS have pushed us to that point. And speaking of BDS, if you watch them last split and of course these games here, you'll know that they are very, very comfortable with poke compositions. So I wanted to go through a couple of clips as to why they are very good at
but Nymaera, poke compositions are about being able to focus while dodging skip shots. So how about we stress test him? Yeah, and
that sounds great.
Sounds like a fantastic idea.
We're going to go through some clips while they throw skill shots at me IRL. So we're going to start with our 6-minute clip as we see an Outbreak stop throwing things at them, go into the bot side jungle and try and engage. But once they realize they're not winning the actual play, they have to retreat. And once you're retreating, you can only run in one direction. And as you can see right here, they have to go right the way back to their own side of the map. And BDS start to use really good lines, knowing that they're going to walk in these kind of directions and go very, very telegraphed into their own side of the map. That's how they use that a little earlier into the game. Then, of course, things happen a little bit differently later on, when one of the other things you can use is objectives to make sure that you can kind of know where the enemy is going to be as well. They set the objectives at first, and they use the fact that Rogue wants to come into the dragon itself to look for a steal, the fact that thanks, I caught the dragon, there you threw it at me, and try and make sure that Rogue walk into them enough that they can kind of get telegraphed for those skill shots as well. They fail the fight itself, have to flash out, they've used all the mobility, Irrelevant goes back, and the Nidalee Spears are really accurate. As you can tell, I was quite distracted. I'm pretty sure Rogue were as well. Called that one. That's what I've got to think about these skill shots. The culprits, the artillerists over there, have some other stuff to break down about the game, though, and talk about how we got a 3-game series. Take it away.
I have Janko's aim on Nidalee, but you still did great, Nymaera. Thank you so much. And BDS did great as well on a composition that, as we said, they are really, really, really good at. Snowballing this type of composition is what made them good. I feel like in Winter, they're not going to have these kind of tools maybe available in Game 3. It's fearless. We're reminding you guys. What did we learn so far from both these teams?
Yeah, well, I think this time around, having this Nidalee brought a lot of early game pressure. And I think more specifically what it also brought was that it was able to hold out on the bot side. I think the fact that the Syra Khan was struggling a bit in the early, then they find a kill of Execute because of a great gank from 113, allows them to have this Drake prio. Like, you saw how difficult it was to Rogue to actually contest the first dragon. They wanted to. You saw them rock up. Just couldn't do anything about it. And I think that's where you put Rogue out of their comfort spot. We're talking about some of their weaknesses and some of the learnings they needed to make. They're focusing very heavily on Drake Prio right now, but they were put too far back to actually be able to contest these dragons.
Yeah, and I think crucially, this is one of the few series we've seen where Red side actually is looking favored. And I gotta give a little criticism to Adam, because he's been solo killed now 2 games in a row, and it looked like I was really struggling into relevant Jax today.
We're gonna, yeah, sorry.
So I really want to see if maybe Rogue can look to bring Adam onto the red side and try to give him a bit more help in draft, because right now it's looking pretty tough up in the top lane.
And they have red side to do it, as it is the side they chose going into this Game 3. What is the balance between these two teams? Rogue came back strong in Game 1, Game 2 they couldn't do anything for the weaknesses that we've talked about. Are we satisfied with what we've seen from BDS? Who is going to take Game 3?
I mean, obviously if you take into the context of a Game 1, you're not satisfied. But if you're watching this Game 2, it's definitely up there. I think what both teams have in common in this series is they like to give away Barons, you know? Like, they're really getting on towards those Drakes and they're making a good snowball out of it. But the moment Baron comes around, whatever, the other team can have it. We'll win anyway. So obviously there's cleanup, but I still think like it just has to be so much about these Drakes.
We like throwing themes. Teams like throwing themes. It's the whole theme of the LEC here. who should be the player who we look at and want to focus on each lineups here, Finn?
Well,
And I know you want to say something.
I need to talk about my man because he had a great Nidalee game. Okay, this is justified because 113 just came out. He's the only player in our league that can play Nidalee to this level. And to me, this is kind of the situation where we have the sword jungler in Malrang, no, the shield jungler in Malrang and the sword jungler in 113. And I think this jungle matchup has been very, very intriguing all series so far. And I want to see what happens now because now most of the tank junglers are out. And I want to see, are we actually going to finally get some Naafiri gameplay, or are we going to keep seeing these engaged champions in the jungle? But for me, the jungle matchup is where my eyes are.
I mean, yeah, we haven't seen Naafiri. That was a surprise for me, honestly.
I like that. I'm hearing Naafiri. It did go through this draft. You know what haven't gone through right now that's still available? Your favorite tank jungler, Sejuani. Still there for the taking. Could be a contested pick between these two. But I also think, like, just the priority between mid and bot lane, that's really where you want to find the leverage. I understand that they want to put Adam in a comfort spot going on to red side, but I really don't think he's the guy that you should play around. It's more about making sure that he's not falling behind, not getting solo killed, and then the rest of the team is really where I'm looking at you getting ahead.
Philosophical discussion about the state of these teams. You think about BDS, how crushing their winter was, the fact that playing Rogue in game 1, I feel like they want to get those 3 points early in the season. And when you look at Rogue on the other side, completely failed on first day, amazing game 1, crumble back here. Who's the most pressured team here?
I still think Rogue is so pressured just because of how bad that winter split was and how much pressure there is. Last year, or last split, they just had to make top 8. This time around, it's top 6. I think my only question around pressure with BDS is that, yeah, we know you can perform with this BDS draft that we've seen so many times now, but it's fearless. What else can you perform on? And that's where I think the pressure comes for BDS.
I had no expectations coming into today's series, but I am hyped seeing what both teams have been throwing at us and at each other. So let's see what game 3 can bring. Casters, take it away.
All I'm saying is we could get a new rhyme. 113 on Naafiri.
Yeah, it kind of works. I like it. Right? I like it.
I would love for Naafiri to make it through.
Yeah.
It won't happen. I'm also worried for Rogue what Patrik is going to play, because he has been by far their best individual player in both Game 1 and Game 2. But we're starting to get into this.
Larssen was kind of good in both.
Larssen was kind of good in both.
Yeah.
Adam had some good moments.
I think Larssen was better in that second. Maybe Patrik, yeah. I mean, Patrik was better in Game 1 for sure. So yeah, okay, I'll give it to Patrik. I'll give it to Patrik.
Look, all right, I'm glad we're seeing this argument out to the fullest.
Yeah.
So what are both of these guys going to play, I guess, is the important question.
I mean, for Patrik, I'd expect maybe the Ashe would be a good pickup.
Hovered Game 1, not picked.
Yeah. Varus is out, Ezreal Corki out. That are like his signature picks. Could also go for something more aggressive like the Kalista, but I don't really see Rogue being good enough to play that aggressive bot snowballing style.
It is a bit too... I think they can make it work in the early game. The question is, can they, close the game out with any kind of lead that they get? And that's always the struggle.
I think late game scaling is best for both teams here. Having some late game insurance.
Definitely feels that way.
I really hope that BDS decide to keep 113 on these carries. I'd love to see either, as you said, the Naafiri, or like something like the Xin Zhao, or something that can actually like fight more and have more presence in the game.
I mean, the only real tank jungler left is the Sejuani. It was banned in Game 2. And
but you never know, they might just put him on Sejuani duty,
It is possible. BDS are on blue side this time around. Aurora, Azir, taking away some of those cover picks. Still going to see a focus on getting that Zyra off the board, not wanting carry junglers for 113 again.
Yeah, we'll have to see if the Naafiri goes open yet again. Rogue kind of showed that they don't really want to play it at all, I think, while it was maybe more BDS saying, hey, 113 on Nidalee, that's how we're going to do it. I would be surprised if 113 is not willing to play this Naafiri in Game 3.
It does seem like a 113 kind of champ. This man's got the carries ready to go.
And Rogue here keeping the same bans, the Rumble and the Zyra. We'll see what they decide to take out for this third ban.
Okay, and the Sejuani off the
Victor
board
was what they banned last game. Yeah, Sejuani off the board. It's coming for Tristana. So they're daring them to play Naafiri. Maybe Malrang has some sort of counter pick prepared for it.
Okay, Victor.
Victor first pick.
I guess gonna play it?
Neither of these teams play Naafiri.
Did they handshake previously that no one was gonna play it?
Wow.
Okay. Well, so far, Nuke has had a pretty good series when it comes to playing Arcane Champions. So, see if he goes 2 for 2. And that might just be the Ashe you were talking about. preemptively shuts down what the Kalista does. Not that Ice has really been a Kalista player, has not played it once this year, although it's frequently banned.
Yeah, I think it's just a good pick for Patrik. Has a good laning phase, fine scaling, some utility for the team. I do think in these games where he's been more of a shining point than before, I wouldn't have minded to see him play more of a carry champion, as Ashe is more like setup and utility. But still, I think stylistically fits Rogue well. And Malrang hovering the Pantheon here, although this could be a flex, but we have typically seen it in the jungle role. And with so many junglers taken out, you kind of have to presume that it's going jungle.
And the two things that I think that we want to see, one you already mentioned, which are scaling for both sides, right? Just safety, you can afford to make a mistake, you know you still have options at every stage of the game. The other thing is reliable engage options. And the Ashe and the Pantheon are both very easy ways to start fights. Xin could come out here.
Yeah, I think the Lillian pickup here would be strange, so the Xin Sao is locked in. I like it. I think it's a strong early game champion, can match Pantheon in a lot of skirmishes and make the early game a lot more playable. Also just a champion that 1-1-3 I think can fight and flex his mechanics a little bit on.
But another game where there won't be any dogs, and utility matches utility here, so not looking to go for anything super crazy scaling option, no Jinx, no Ophelia, nothing like that. Just Jhin bringing comparable utility.
Jhin, good matchup into Ashe, and has good, like decent scaling as well, and you already have the DPS coming in from the Victor. So I think you're happy locking this in, and there's also no tanks on the side of Rogue just yet. Or if they do decide to pick this Braum, they do have a pretty big, beefy boy. But now they have to do some cover bans for it here on 4-5, as you really don't want to lane into a range support with this Jhin that could really bully you out. So we'll see who they decide to take out. Rakan and Bard are both already taken off the table, which would be good picks here for the side of BDS.
Care about Renata, Gragas is going to be one of the options. The Ashe very immobile, so don't want to deal with that cask disrupting a fight.
I think Karma is by far the best pick for BDS. I would be really surprised if Rogue decided to ban it on 5, as it just provides a great laning phase. It's good with Xin Sao, and Xin Sao can just jump in and benefit a lot off the shields. And it's just a really hard lane for Ashe and Braum.
Parus did also bust out the Seraphine one time last year against G2, I believe. It was pretty solid. The Syndra will be banned again. Larssen did hover it. It was banned without a hover last game by BDS.
Yeah, it's good. Just good to take out some of these more standard control mages. You already have the Victor locked in for yourself, and I think Rogue just have to go for some sort of control mage. One, because it's Larssen. I mean, it's his forte, but also just because like playing something like Sylas or Akali into
Victor.
Yeah, I think it's not fun.
So Leona is their option. Yeah, true. That may get away with a lot of stuff.
Leona ban, wow. This is very strange to me, because Rogue are just saying we don't really care about this bot lane matchup because Braum is good into Leona. We only want to ban things that are the best for your comp. But I do think here if BDS get a beefy boy on top and they lock in a little Karma, they have a really strong bot lane that they can play around and try to get a real lane lead. And I might have jinxed it saying melee mids aren't playable here, because that might be all that Rogue have left.
What else is in the back pocket? Galio is something that we've seen from Larssen before.
Ooh, Mel maybe.
Well, we're just being teased now. Come on. What do you got for us?
It's gonna be the LeBlanc.
Okay.
Wow. So a very like strong pick composition from LeBlanc and Pantheon. Overall, not the highest of damage in terms of a raw 5v5.
Yeah.
But very, very good one-shot potential.
I would actually really like a Soraka here.
I think Karma just does the same thing, but a lot better. I really want to see Karma.
No, I think you're off. I think the Karma's great, but I'll just say my one piece as the Karma gets locked in.
Yeah.
You have no reliable way to lock this LeBlanc down right now. You have nothing. So if Larssen gets ahead, this game is unplayable. The shield helps, but that silence field from Soraka and the additional heals.
I mean, that is true, but at the same time, if you group up as 5 and then Karma presses Mantra E, LeBlanc just doesn't have damage anymore.
Also, if LeBlanc just decides to attack the Soraka, then she just dies in 1 second. So I mean,
It's going to be the Mbessa locked in here, line pick for BDS. I would have liked to see something a little bit tankier for them, but we'll see if Adam has some cool counter pick.
I'm going to call it out now. While I do really like the Xin and the Karma, the Mbessa and the Karma together, the BDS comp does feel a little bit disjointed. You've got two champions in the Mbessa and the Xin who really want to dive in. You've got a Jhin and a Victor who kind of want to stay back, whereas Rogue, it's not the most late game scaling, especially with a Volibear locked in, but it is certainly a very straightforward comp. Dive, picks, find people on side lane, and kill them.
Rogue with some Freljord combination here, the Braum, Ashe, and Volibear. I like this Volibear pickup. I think now you have a real win con in both side lane and top lane. Like, LeBlanc can pressure the Victor quite hard. Volibear should be able to pressure Mbessa, and you have the Pantheon that can ulti to either side on these volatile lanes. And I think it's definitely snowballing is the name of the game for this Rogue comp, because I do think if you get to 20-30 minutes, this BDS composition just has a lot more survivability, a lot more damage, and as long as nobody gets one shot, they'll just win the 5-5.
And without a true tank, I mean, there's a lot that could be done to mitigate Jin's impact, but the LeBlanc and the Ashe might struggle in terms of that damage output, and we've seen what Victor can do on these comps that want to really commit on a single target, punishing so heavily every time this pick has been locked in. Victor hotly contested for us here in the LEC domestically. Find out if this is a game where you get a bit of a case as to why.
It was permabanned in first stand nearly against Laddie.
Yeah.
That was really surprised well. Quite a lot of respect shown to him.
Well, we heard from the voice comm leaks that he was smacking around a decent number of LPL mid laners, and I imagine that might have been one of the champions that he was doing it on.
True.
But it's game 3, Mr. Spectra. It's tense, and I gotta say, I like what Rogue are bringing to the table. We'll see if they can make it happen. They can use all of this early game power to overrun BDS, or BDS will weather the storm, secure their first win of spring.
And it's exciting look for Rogue. I feel like they're banking on individual skill here to be the difference maker, trying to snowball both mid and top with the help of Malrang to try to generate a lead so they can continue snowballing with this pick composition. While BDS, they have a very strong bot lane and more scaling on the rest of the top side.
Ice.
Ooh, Ice might be in trouble.
Might be forced to cleanse here.
Slowed.
Q connects, forced to cleanse. Will he be forced to flash as well? Mantra Q, stopping the push. That's a pretty good start though.
Yeah, getting the cleanse doesn't feel too bad. You're kind of forced to take cleanse this game mostly for the level 6, but it is a possibility to get Braum stunned, of course, in the early game, and it also does allow Malrang to maybe do some early cheese shenanigans towards that bottom lane.
Definitely possible. See where Malrang wants to shift his focus. He will be starting topside, likely to be spotted. A good ward from BDS, recognizing that invade, using it to get a bit of vision back.
Irrelevant looking for a bit of a cheese here, maybe, onto Adam, who's going to fish check?
Maybe?
Or he just wants to spot.
I think he's just trying to get as much information as possible.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're not in a world where he would be expecting a lane swap, but tracking the Pantheon early does seem pretty important to stop Rogue's composition from doing what it wants to do.
And luckily, he's on a ward.
The ward paying off. You had a champion standing on one camp, you have a ward on another camp, you expect him to start topside, so pretty decent information.
That's the electrocute here for Irrelevant, really banking all in on these short trades to try to win him the lane.
I mean, you're not winning long trades against the Volibear.
Well, no, but he could have went for the grasp to be more tanky later on, but instead he just really wants to snowball up that high base damage of electrocute.
Is very powerful. We saw it in the Bard in the previous game. Super flashy, but Larssen packing it as well. So far, first push going for Adam. Courtesy of that passive, some lightning pause to get things done.
Great trades from Nuke on mid here. Larssen might just be forced to base TP already.
I mean, it is tough to LeBlanc in the first 2 levels, right? Versus the Victor.
Yeah, Victor with that Q start.
Yeah.
Is quite obnoxious, but it leads you to question this LeBlanc pick because from my perspective, LeBlanc is very bad into Victor lane-wise.
Yep.
But then you also get outscaled.
Yep.
So you really need Malrang to come help him out, or unless, like, otherwise you're just losing the whole game.
Adam spotted by the ward there. I mean, it's a good call out, right? And so the question is, how do you weather that storm? And the answer right now is that he's not weathering the storm. He's already been forced to TP. Ice will respond at the very least. Some early boots for Larssen just to try to make these trades a little bit easier, get in and get out. Top lane aggressive as well. But again, if Rogue's firepower in the lane phase doesn't pay off, there's not a lot else for this composition. It's similar to last game where level 6, mid-game, they can be impactful, but unlike last game, BDS have that surefire scaling that if Rogue don't find a lead, don't find an advantage, it just feels impossible.
Yeah. They do have a lot of pick tools later on as well, though, so as long as they don't get trapped into these repeated 5v5s, they can make a lot of chaos on the map.
I appreciate that.
Which I suppose you'd like.
Would you like them to give you chaos?
Well, if you're a Rogue fan, I suppose, yes.
Yeah.
But I'm an unbiased caster, so...
Oh, okay, all right. You're the first, I think. Taking everybody out now. Look, Rogue, so far, pretty quiet. Yeah, good news for Rogue is that the spot lane has not been too bad at all.
Yeah.
Still able to keep pressure despite the Karma getting locked in, which I think was the big concern with the early Braum lock.
Yeah. I was expecting this Rogue bot lane to get punished more than they have, and we might have just caster cursed them as it's a good trade for BDS. It looks like they're going to be fine, but I do think it partly was because Malrang was pathing towards bot, and he was a little bit faster than the Xin Zhao, being able to get that bottom grab, which just allows Rogue bot lane to feel a lot more safe in this matchup.
Yeah. Patrik left on his lonesome. Roam from Execute spotted out, but the chain is going to connect. Otto's coming in, gravity field, but now LeBlanc can finish that stun. Good damage down. Is Nuke going to be forced to flash here? The answer, no.
They have no damage.
They have no damage. And this is the second Execute gank that has involved him going mid. This time he hit his abilities, but they still didn't get anything out of it.
Yeah, that's the problem with LeBlanc. You really wanted to pair it up with some damage on another roll.
Ooh, first you don't succeed, brother. Try again. There are 3 members of BDS here for a counter gank.
Yeah.
And some furious pings from Rogue. They know this is not the opportunity they thought it might be. Yeesh. Gravity field.
Oh, Irrelevant level 6 here.
Ulti.
Flash from Adam.
I mean, good from Irrelevant. Irrelevant up TP and
he just
flash.
forced his flash here when Adam has a buy advantage, having used his TP in a counter matchup. Adam is having a rough series.
Game 1's always all right, but everything after that has just not looked too hot. We'll see if level 6 gets better, what these early item purchases do, but Ambessa making it through all the early levels at an advantage is very surprising. Normally where the champion suffers most.
Oh, and Irrelevant here, watching the recall of Adam, able to now hard push this wave and deny some of those minions.
And this is the TP diff, right? Probably doesn't go for this if Adam does have TP, just recalls on his own, matches. Instead, can just force this in, get Prio back. Might not even need to use his own TP here, hold on to that advantage.
The biggest thing is here, Irrelevant is trading a little bit of an individual lead for the grubs. Maybe BDS wouldn't want to contest the grubs anyways, but it does mean that Irrelevant is so late on the map that there's 3 free grubs for the side of Rogue. Is going to be traded though, with the Infernal Drake being started up by BDS.
Can be a bit tricky to give those grubs away, but for now it is just the 3, as you mentioned.
LeBlanc and Volibear are very happy with these grubs, as they should be able to hit tower later on in the game. Rogue want to try to enter here. Missing the W.
Coming out. Tether going to be broken.
Yes, are very split here. I think they have to drop the Drake.
Behind. And Malrang on the way in. Drake will reset, so Rogue not quite able to start it, but not able to get the response play.
It's indecision from BDS that leads them to force to drop the Drake, and that's just 3 free grubs for Rogue.
3 free grubs.
3 free grubs.
A little tongue twist.
Yeah.
Ultimately, not too bad yet. Adam does have an ulti advantage for now. Actually, a very brief window of time. Relevance isn't that far away. Catalyst is going to be the Roa. The bear, not too surprising, but does give a little bit of sustain in lane.
None of these trades are really looking that good for Adam.
And good awareness of the matchup from Relevant to take short trades. As long as you can't get the second W, the Frenzied Maul down, you really just don't have that sustain. And the shielding to advantage trades is so conditional with Adam. Still losing out.
Yeah, a bit of a weird one for me, because I thought the bot matchup for Rogue would be dreadful and they would struggle, but they're doing just fine. And I thought the top
matchup would be terrible for Irrelevant, but here we are.
Oh, Arrow?
Arrow? Oh, okay.
Barely misses.
One more? One more? No, come on. I like the angle on the arrow, though.
It was a good arrow.
A potential to hit 3 different champions is pretty nice.
Yeah.
But Patrik not going to have his prey moment. It's not 2016, it's 2025. Oh, I feel old. Oof. Checking in, though. BDS comfortable with this pace of game. hard chilling, as it were. The nuke, he's about to back, he's gonna get some Merc Treads, knowing that he quietly, comfortably outscales, that at some point in the game he'll push W on top of himself and push ult, and all of Rogue will die if they try to kill him. Not there yet, though. Patrik running a bit out of mana, but has pushed the wave out. See if Ice wants to base.
Tries to cancel, but doesn't quite get it. Probably just going to be match-based here for the ADCs. I do believe, though, that now Rogue can start playing for this Drake with a slight tempo advantage onto Patrik.
Be big for Rogue. Dragon stacking not a bad way. Infernal first, so they won't have it for the Soul. It could be Hextech.
And Nuke's wave here is a bit bad, so the rest of BDS are just trying to help him crash this in.
I mean, BDS defensive ganks, it's good that they've been here twice, both times. It's been right when someone from Rogue has tried to show their face.
Both ADCs opening towards mid. We got a fight on our hands.
Right behind, Ice on the way in as well. Ulti available, Malrang getting things started. Decent damage going in from Larssen, finishes the kill and snaps right back. Excellently played, first blood there. The rest of Rogue still committing. Nuke has the ulti laid down, it's just Larssen's clone. Execute now retreating. Patrik gonna get chunked out here, needs to walk away. 4-shot, good backstep, but right into the trap, definitely not ideal. Ulti, the Pantheon coming back in. Ice might be the one in trouble. 1-1-3 could now go in as well. Nuke's got decent damage. Larssen staying at max range. It's a clean play thus far. Good stun falling off the Braum, but they've overcommitted now. That's the Aegis Assault, not nearly enough. Over eager. And they will be punished 1-for-1. Incredibly close trade.
And it's so close for both teams here. You just change one thing about either of these plays and the fight could go completely differently. Rogue tried to go for a little bit too much in the end there with Malrang going in, but they're a little bit disjointed as Patrik first goes on Ice and then swaps his target selection, which means Malrang ends up going down, no objective being taken, and it's a swap from Rogue up to that top side. Let's rewatch the fight here. Execute phase checks, both ADCs are opening here, both teams are ready for a fight. Malrang flashes onto Parus, Larssen able to get the chain, dashes backwards. And here Ice ultis onto Patrik because he knows that Malrang has the Pantheon E to block the damage. Execute, flashes out, and it's here. Patrik decides to continue fighting with Ice instead of kiting to the left towards his team. And he actually stuns Ice, who has the cleanse, flashes away from Malrang, and then Execute lands the Braum Q onto the nuke. But it's not enough, and he gets CC'd, and it's
Bro, you're spitting.
Thank you.
You just replay-by-played that fight. Thank you. For the very precise breakdown. BDS, again, we highlighted, do not want to give away a 4-Grub buff or a 6-Grub buff to a Rogue comp with such strong side laners, even if top lane's going well for you thus far. There's 1-1-3 starting.
Nice TP. TPing behind.
Execute level 6, ulti there. Adam on the way. The full 5v5 for Grubs. Already one going down for BDS. Irrelevant flashing away, still getting flashed up. 1-1-3 engaging a bit, but just a bit of poke onto Irrelevant. One Grub going over. Rogue can be happy with that. Do they still want to force the fight? Ulti there. Larssen poking to the backside, splitting the team. Last Grub. 1-1-3 wants to keep fighting. The rest of the team a little bit far away. Execute gonna go for the ulti, not gonna hit anyone. The slow might help a bit, but now the entire team chasing in. Public execution is there. Who are they gonna get? LeBlanc trying to finish the job. Now going straight into the backline. Irrelevant might be in trouble, but the gravity field is down. Adam manages to get one. The Bull Bear start ready to run wild, but it might be too late. The rest of BDS still standing. Adam gets nothing done. Rogue losing 2.
And it's a disaster for Rogue. They're so hesitant. They don't know if they really want to take this fight. And once you start running, that's when you lose. Ice opens up with the Jhin ult, and they can just run them down. And it's 3 kills going over the side of the BDS. And you can see here, Rogue, they want to contest the Grubs, but afterwards, they're not sure if they really want to take this fight. Nobody's really calling aggressively how they want to engage. It's a great arrow from Patrik that secures them the Grubs, but afterwards, you see here, they're very split, very disjointed. Larssen is on the flank, but once the Jhin ult opens up, I think Rogue panic a bit here. They could keep clicking forward and play for the fight, but once you start clicking back, now Execute is getting chunked. Execute's ulti misses. And now they are able to get onto Irrelevant, but they don't have quite enough damage to finish him. And 1-1-3 is wrecking havoc in your backline, killing Patrik, and secures BDS this fight.
Such a tough fight. And again, I felt like both teams were a little bit hesitant, but BDS more than happy to punish.
Give me fist bump.
Give it to me. And that's the kind of confidence and calls we want to see. Now, generally more in the in-game variety, but we'll take a very insistent
You have to
fist bump.
start in real life, maybe, and then you bring it to the in-game.
That man's been watching some
Like, do you
Valorant.
think
He
his
knows.
laners will not move if that's how he's at fist bump?
Come on. I'm good. Like, 113 is probably a lot smaller than me, but I'm intimidated. That man knew what he wanted.
Size isn't everything.
It's true. Jackspectra, give me fist bump. Go. Apparently it works. You're much quicker to respond.
Sure.
Appreciate that.
I'm not a top
Larssen,
laner.
still poking. Again, I think now that he has Ludens, the fight would be a little bit different, but not hitting those damage breakpoints is a big deal. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Pantheon just suddenly appeared. LeBlanc going in as well. Looks like we found ourselves a kill. It happened so fast we didn't even need to see it. Victor does some good damage back, but I'm gonna guess that Larssen hit a stun and then Malrang ulted.
I think that's a smart deduction here as Nuke ends up going down. I mean, this is one of the greatest strengths of LeBlanc. You have this great gank setup that we'll probably see here. Oh, but it's actually just
the opposite.
It's just the raw Pantheon ult. Taking down the Victor.
Yeah.
Nearly a solo kill.
I mean, Nuke was just not fast enough. He doesn't have flash. It's a good punish. Good sum timing, right? He's only about 20 seconds away, 10 seconds away now from that flash being back up. And that's a big difference. 2-0-1 now for Larssen. He had a good first fight, kind of a lackluster second fight. Maybe the LeBlanc is the champion that can pick apart this composition.
A much better day from Larssen in general. I think he had a really rough winter split alongside Patrik, in my opinion. Especially when those are like the two players that... I mean, like for Adam, I think he was fine. And Execute and Malrang are more unknowns. I feel like they can be good or bad.
Yeah.
While Larssen and Patrik, they should be the pillars of this team. And I think today they've shown... Even if they lose today, they've shown a much better series than most of what they showed in winter for me.
I agree. Strong first Orianna game alongside Execute. Good cooperation there. And now here in game 3, looking comfortable on this LeBlanc, making a pick work that, I mean, on paper probably shouldn't have. Needed a bit of support, but managed to find that kill. Very close call in that first fight, and now a second kill as well with support of the Pantheon. And this is what you want from this champion.
Yeah, the whole idea is to set up your team for success with the fact that you have such high gank threat with those chains. So really good 2-2 synergy from Malrang and Larssen to set up these plays.
Adam getting aggressive. We'll find the initial stun. Malrang can find the follow-up stun. Irrelevant now just getting run down, trying to ult out, but Malrang grabs another kill.
And it's again these flash timers that Rogue, I think they seem to be timing that from the side of BDS. Just a few seconds off of this Ambessa flash time would have led him to safety. And he ends up going down, and Adam with 4 grubs might be able to get this full bot tower.
Definitely might be able to. Parus now moving up to support Nuke because Larssen's getting dangerously close to be able to take him out. Constantly distortioning forward to try to get this poke down. Malrang showing his presence mid lane as well. Execute moving in onto Parus, finding the knock-up. Nuke might need to move to cover, but very likely this is a dead Karma. Malrang coming in as well. Nuke has to be careful not to overcommit. The chain's still connecting. Gravity Field buys a bit of space. Nice spear shot going in. One more second. Doesn't even need the distortion. Gets it with the Sigil of Malice.
It's greedy from Parus holding the flash despite getting the Braum passive stacks on him. Ends up getting stunned into CC chain, and at that point, it's too little too late.
And credit to Rogue. Again, the first few levels of the game, the top lane matchup, I thought it might have been falling apart for them, but they played the bot lane 2v2 well. Larssen has found his way into a pretty sizable advantage. 1.5k individual gold lead. Now also grabbing the Herald. If they break open mid, I feel like this LeBlanc is just running free.
Yeah, and it's only one Drake in this game. Second Drake spawning in 1 minute. I think using the Herald, as you said, on mid lane in tandem with this Drake spawn would be really, really smart to just secure that second dragon. And I do think like Soul win condition is a really, really strong possibility for the side of Rogue. Just have to hope, cross our fingers, no Chemtech Soul.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Not Chemtech, and you're looking good. Although with a Volibear and a Pantheon, Chemtech is okay, but you really want something that's gonna empower the LeBlanc.
I had this discussion yesterday with Analyst Desk. Do you think Chemtech Drake should be removed from the game or rework the Soul? Because it kind of feels like you just lose the RNG.
I have a pretty uneducated opinion, so I'm just not gonna. I'm not gonna sell out the balance team like that. It does feel lackluster, but I imagine there are stats to show whether or not it's actually comparable.
Well, those stats are always kind of fake, no? Because like if you're getting the soul, that means you're winning. So it's
yeah,
like,
but it's compared to the other situations in which you get other souls.
That's true, yeah.
Neither of us are statisticians, but we can see the BDS is breaking mid.
Yeah,
out of kind of nowhere.
That's pretty random.
But hey,
they are gonna get a return top tower, but I do hope that Rogue are just gonna drop this Drake. I think I really want to see them fight for this Drake. I think Soul is a great win condition for them. Looks like they're going to end up dropping it. Oh no, they changed their mind. They're keeping in.
Bit of a split fight, but Ambessa is on the way in now. Adam ready to kick things off. 4K on the dark. 113 already ulted. This is a disaster. Larssen now moving back to the fight. 113 finally chasing it, and that's the gravity field. Irrelevant trying to get a fight back. Adam into the back line. Instantly needs to flash away because it's a double kill for Ice, and he's ready to open up. Curtain's open. Curtain's closed. The jungler too low to approach. Malrang will just grab this one. Awkward fight.
It's a 2-for-1 for the side of BDS here, but it does end up being the Drake going over to the side of Rogue, and it's a Hextech Soul.
Oh, that's the best roll.
Yeah. So, overall, not too bad for the side of Rogue. A little bit disjointed, a little bit too deep, and they do end up getting 2-man gravity field stunned by Nuke, which was their demise, as we'll see here in the replay. But I love this proactivity from Rogue. The decision to just TP behind them, full send it for this fight. I do think they could have played it a little bit better if they just backed out after they killed Nuke here. But after they didn't get CC'd, Adam decides to ult in rather than out, and then he flashes out, but then he's already dead. But in the end, you have to look at like what matters in the game. And now you're sitting at 2 dragons, with a Hextech Soul being a possibility and a real win condition. Now, I want to see Rogue continue this proactivity, play with this Pantheon LeBlanc, make chaos on the map.
We're a big fan of chaos. You don't have to pause for me every time you say the word chaos and look at me.
Well, because you gave me like a, you opened your eyes like you saw Nirvana when I said it. So of course I want to pause.
You don't have like a clause in your contract. It says you get an extra euro every time you say chaos. But it's good. I appreciate that. It's Irrelevant, not ready for that one. That was a little bit chaotic. Larssen doing good damage, but Irrelevant trying to fire back. Larssen,
No
however,
flash. He's down.
just kind of walking him around here. Irrelevant, good damage back, but no hope of finding that kill.
It's going to be the kill picked up by Malrang here, and that's going to be a deep push for the side of Rogue on this bot side. They're going to be able to take down bot tower, but in response, BDS are roaming up towards this top side, but they're deciding not to go for the tower here. Maybe scared of Pantheon potentially ulting with the LeBlanc TP behind.
And you can still see the Rogue are a bit disjointed. The Herald dropped bot
It's a
lane.
bit of a strange Herald. Yeah, you could have just, I think, done 5 auto attacks and taken the tower.
Yeah, less than intentional.
Definitely would want to use that Herald to break that mid tier 1.
Because it's really hard to break mid tier 1 for this composition. Victor could
Yeah.
infinitely wave clear.
Maybe it'll get a crash at least.
It's possible.
Nope.
Kind of a whoops.
Bit of a sad, sad Herald. Oh, wait a minute. Hold up.
Rude.
That's close.
The fans wanted blood. They wanted that Herald crash into the tower. But won't happen. I heard that guy say yeah again. Shout out to you, buddy.
It's just you and that guy.
You're not even here, Jack. Go away. We'll bring that guy up. He'll just shout at things he's excited about. I would really, God, that's really annoying because I think that Herald was such a good thing. But it's a reminder that Rogue, as much as they're stepping up, obviously still have work to do. But this is still such marked improvement from Winter, which is what you want.
Yeah.
Right? You do not want people to go away in the time between splits when there's a lot of time and not come back stronger.
So then my question is, Rogue looks pretty good. They don't look too bad. But Heretics made them look kind of bad. So how good are Heretics?
Or how bad are BDS? A lot of questions, a lot of follow-up questions. Context is king here.
I'm a glass half full type of guy.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say Heretics are very good.
Just goated.
Yeah.
Who's Camilla the next favorite?
I don't know. I wouldn't go that far, maybe.
Okay, we can't both be glass half full type guys.
That's like glass is full.
Glass is overflowing.
Yeah.
Glass is full of copium. Nah, Camille's had a solid start. We'll see how he improves as we go. For now, though, Rogue and BDS, it's gotten quiet. I think as you would expect, because right now
TP
BDS are on
from
survival
Larssen.
duty. Irrelevant trying to back off. That's Flash. Larssen chasing. Good ulti going in from Irrelevant, trying to get tricky with it. Nice sidestep on the ulti. Will still take a bit of damage, and he's dead. Larssen on a rampage. 3-0-3.
And it's again Irrelevant being punished on a side lane here. A great TP play from the Rogue solo laners. But they're gonna choose to actually just straight send it into this Atakan, not even pushing out bot. Try to leverage this 4v5 on this Atakan. And Adam is already starting it.
I think they should be pretty favored.
Larssen has a very good flank here. Parus.
Good angle.
Good
Parus.
Mikhails.
Excellent Mikhails. Double knockup. In comes the Pantheon. It's a good combo. They're chasing right in on a nuke. They need to take this Victor down. Malrang might have to give his life. Execute trying to body block, but you can't stop the Chaos Storm from going down. Won't quite get the reset. Keep your eyes on that curtain call. One shot, two. Everyone body block, and they step aside! They mess it up, and down he goes! The resets are coming in, and now BDS have a chance to fight back. It's all eyes on Larssen. The chain connecting, but Ice still free firing. No more bullets left. It's Patrik flashing in. Patrik in the face of three. Unafraid. One more bullet will do it. Adam on the chase, though. Ice firing back, taking another. It's a close fight, but it's not enough. Rogue fumbling. Adam gets the kill at least. Gets the shutdown.
And it's Malrang going too deep that results in this 4-for-3 for Rogue. I mean, it's a crazy fight. Incredibly back and forth here. I like the idea that Patrik has with this arrow, trying to send it while Larssen is on a flank, but I think you can just turn back on the Atacon once you don't get into this initial pick. But Malrang, he flashes in. He wants everything. And 113 is able to flash out, get out, and then nobody blocks the Jin ult. So beautiful shot from Ice there. Like he finds the goal in the middle of all of them. And that means that now Rogue are so low, but Patrik is gliding, he's stepping forward, he's flashing in. He doesn't quite get the auto onto Ice to get the stun, but he still is able to take down the Victor, slow the Jin, and then Adam with a beautiful E is able to run down Ice.
Oh man.
What? Dead Fist?
Dead Fist?
Oh my god.
I think they were both talking about the Volibear.
Yeah. That's probably. It worked.
It's a fast bear.
That is a very fast bear.
Maybe we can finally get this mid-tier one. Nope.
Nope. And this is why we were upset about the Herald. And BDS...
Oh, they got the Drake, the Soul point, while we were in replay. That's pretty huge.
Good catch. I mean, it is right there on the screen, but I hadn't seen it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rogue have set up for Soul Point. Neither side is getting Otacon.
One more Drake. I do think if Rogue can secure this Soul, their gameplay can be so easy. All they need to do is just poke, and they can play these fights so incredibly slow with that obnoxious Hextech.
I mean, LeBlanc with Hextech is just going to be so powerful.
Yeah.
Ice is hitting like a truck, though. 3 items, Armor Pen, Lethality, IE.
Yeah, Infinity Edge finish is big for this Jhin. He's going to be doing a lot of damage. 7-1 on him. And we have a pause.
Pause.
What do we speculate about this time?
Shouty guy, pauses, yes or no? No?
Who's going to cheer for a pause?
No pause, okay. Boo, boo, says Shouty guy. All right, thank you. I'll learn your name eventually, I promise. That's rude. I don't intentionally want to be rude by calling you Shouty guy. All right, Rogue has initiated a pause. As always, we'll wait for League officials to tell us what the cause is of the pause. I like that it rhymes. In the meantime, have a break. Have a Kit Kat. Malrang, looking a little eepy. It's been a long series. It's been a tough series. And that man on your screen said he wasn't worthy of the Ginger God title yet, but he's having a heck of a game thus far.
Yeah, he's having a good game and a good series. And I do think for the side of Rogue, you should be feeling pretty comfortable. Whenever you are the team with 3 Drakes, there's always just a sense of comfort to it, because you know that all you need is one more fight to secure the game.
1 Drake, 1 Smite, you're in such a great position. And even that fight around Baron, around that blue buff, was so close, right? It was the difference of Malrang maybe going a bit too far, someone not quite sidestepping. So, it's been a close
Can I say, Nuke just wrote in our chat, question mark, toilet issues XD.
Yeah, so what I've been told, the official reading is non-medical player issue. So, nothing serious. And the all chat did say toilet issue, but it's up to...
No, but it was Nuke that wrote it to Rogue, you know? So he's like flaming them.
Ah, I see. Officially, player-related issue, non-medical. But it's up to players if they want to reveal the reasons. Although I do forever love LCK for the decision. That meme will live on forever.
Wait, which one?
They wrote toilet issue in their
toilet issue? Oh.
That's where it comes from, my guy.
Oh.
So, player-related issue on stage. So,
there's been a few player-related issues in the games.
Yeah. think it's a bit rude, but you know, yeah, everybody makes mistakes. I don't think that's not really a valid reason to pause though. So this is probably something else.
That would be a funny pause.
That would be a funny
She just pause and say, I made a big mistake. Can we like Corona
Can I
break it?
flame my jungler right now? Just checking.
No,
Refs,
it's like,
no?
oh, I really messed up. Can we like Corona break maybe? I think like that wasn't how I wanted to
That
play
wasn't good. Yeah, we roll it back. This is pre-recorded, right? We can just air this later. We can cut that part out.
Okay, we do have some ready checks coming in from both teams.
All right.
So we will probably be jumping back soon.
You said that with such confidence.
Well, they did type R in all chat, both of them. Both teams.
They did?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, okay. You're my comp ops team, I've learned.
Yeah.
Thank you for the updates, Jackspectra. We do appear to be getting back into game. With any luck, we'll have it on your screen momentarily. Let's go, Berlin. Woo! Back into game. Game 3, Rogue versus BDS. If you're just joining us, SK versus Fnatic after this. It's been a back and forth. Rogue.
It's been a battle. A
It's been a battle. Rogue getting game 1. Game 2, 1-1-3 on Nidalee highlight reel. Poke comp. This game, Rogue all about the picks. And they've been pretty successful. Larssen, the big standout, 4-0-5. Definitely needed some help from his team, but once he got that lead, he has not stopped building an advantage.
Ice looking so strong on this gym. Really looking forward to seeing LeBlanc hitting this level 16 mark and the Rabadon, as I think that's when she can really start one-shotting everybody on the side of BDS. Let's see if she has it with this recall. She does have Rabadon.
That's big.
And now I would say she's assembled Exodia, but I don't.
You
Didn't
need...
watch Yu-Gi-Oh!
I know, and I'm telling you, you need to find a Bakugan equivalent, which no one has watched except for you. So you can
Any
say that was-
Bakugan? Come on, there has to be some Bakugan enjoyers.
tweet at you.
Yeah.
Whatever your handle is. Let us know. Or, sorry, X.
Whatever
you.
my name is. Thanks,
Whatever,
man.
no, whatever your handle is. I know what your
Random
name
check completely. Whoever you are.
Whoever you are. Larssen hiding in this brush.
Nearly.
Okay, Rogue.
I do think Medjai's for Larssen this game wouldn't be bad.
It would also, if you win with Medjai's against BDS, whew,
Yeah.
that's an excellent start. Because again, I just want to say, really impressed with Rogue, regardless of the context of this game, because day 1 after game 1 was so rough.
Yeah.
And they have recovered, and they're firing back in these best of 3s. And this is a team that, in general, people are pretty ready to count out. So the fact that they held strong in terms of mental, they showed up today, and they're putting up this excellent performance against BDS is a promising start to this spring split. Now, hopefully, we can be saying that about a Rogue win for the sake of Rogue fans. But BDS are tough competition, and as we've highlighted many times, and we'll now highlight again, the scaling department favors BDS pretty heavily.
Yeah. I would love to see Larssen push out a side lane and then look to recall and hover down towards Adam's side, or do like a TP play like he did earlier. Oh, but we got a crazy arrow. Oh, just barely misses.
Going in.
But Irrelevant is in no man's land here.
Flashing over.
No flash on Adam. Up in 20. Can't follow.
Not bad. Pantheon on the way in now, too. Irrelevant's going to go down 3 times in a row now.
And BDS are not in a position to rush down this Atakan. They have no response play as long as Rogue bot lane doesn't get caught out here.
And Irrelevant a little bit overconfident this game, right? He was dominating the early lane phase, something we did not expect, especially without those levels and the cooldown on that Mbessa Q. But as we've gotten later into the game, he's just been over-eager. He's been punished so many times now.
Yeah, just getting caught out again and again and again. And it's going to result in the tier 2 being taken by Adam here. But a tremendous lead for him, 2.5k. Nearly full item up. I mean, he is a full item up on Irrelevant.
Maybe we misunderstood the matchup, because it only seems to be getting better for him.
1-1-3 here.
To the knockup, 1-1-3 forced to flash. Rogue is zoning them away. 48 seconds to the Drake. Rogue, perfect vision setup. BDS now recalling.
Great play from Rogue here, being able to force 1-1-3 back to base, forcing his flash. Now, if you have a good setup around this Drake, because the Xin Zhao has no flash, it's so much easier to deny him from any potential steal.
I think the big thing too there is with that chunk out, they make sure that BDS also has to back so that their vision gets to stick. BDS needed to play on this wave if they wanted to contest the Drake, and now they can't. They're walking into Fog of War. Face first into this LeBlanc, and that did less damage. But it will hurt if she hits another ability.
Yeah. I mean, it was shielded.
Yeah.
But it is going to be the poke wars here. Just Larssen on a one-man mission trying to poke them down. We'll see how well he can do it.
Wind becomes lightning.
Oh, Larssen might be
nice
caught.
walk up, irrelevant. They're now trying to retreat. Execute going to be the one in trouble if they don't find the kill reset, though. That's it for the Chaos Storm and the Curtain Call. Execute so low. Now 1-1-3 following. Adam needs to be careful. They're peeling back. The kill going through. Execute going down. The burn finishing him off. Rogue, do they want to contest this? No.
Larssen has TP. He's TPing both, but it's too late.
Wants to get the drive-by smite. Won't be able to do it. Adam in trouble now. BDS, good diligence, good discipline. Get the objective, take out Adam. Now they're chasing Patrik. Patrik's got nowhere to go. Nuke is so damn fast. Gravity field, a little Q-Auto, a little classic VIKTOR gameplay. Immobile 80 carries hate him. BDS fans love it, and now Malrang is going in, trying to kill Parus for some reason. What the hell just happened? BDS made a good play, and Rogue doubled down to kill a support. Now if BDS get paired, they threw so much away.
I mean, Rogue are making incredible decisions, but ice. He's making magic on this Jhin with the curtain calls, with the W's, with Larssen and Execute. Want to try to contest this match?
5-0-5.
It's too difficult.
It's way too hard. 3K. Larssen entertaining the idea, maybe hoping to find an exit kill, but at this point, BDS, they've held the line through the mid game. They fell behind, but they found this fight.
And it starts off with Larssen making a mistake. He goes in and then goes back, but he gets rooted up by ice, I believe, or he gets CC'd by something. It is going to be the Abessa ulti that lands onto him, so he has to flash out. And now, look at the Jhin ult here, onto Braum. What the? How does he hit that? And Execute then ends up dying to the Landry's burn. And then after that, Rogue, it's one Hextech Drake for the side of BDS. It's okay. You don't need to all go in and die. And now they start out.
They don't want to stop fighting. 2K goal lead for BDS. Have they outscaled? That is the question. Larssen is on the flank. Rogue are running out of time to make this composition work. Engage goes in from 1-1-3. It's a bit split. 5K on the objective. Redemption now coming down. Execute taken out of the equation. Abessa into the backline. Larssen completely out of the fight. It's going to be a slaughter in favor of BDS. Voracious Otacon down. Relevant on the chase. Larssen nowhere to go. As good as it was, it's all falling apart. BDS
have a mid-wave. They can end.
What are we watching? In 2 fights. All it takes. Ice 4.2K individual lead. Rogue, we thought they had the edge. We thought Soul was on the cards for them. They overforced the Dragon. They overforced the Otacon. And BDS are more than happy to punish in game 3. Nexus towers falling. Execute the only one to watch his base crumble. BDS finding their first win in spring. Rogue heartbroken. BDS stand tall.
Rogue had it in their hands. They had everything, but it is BDS that take everything as they take Rogue down 2-1 BDS.
Certainly do. I'm reeling. I thought we had another 10 minutes at least of game. Irrelevant 1-1-3 or Ice, all fantastic options.
I think
for your Kia player of the series.
Ice in that Jhin game was insane.
Yes.
Although 1-1-3 on Italy.
Italy had pretty good.
He had a good. I mean, he was good in this Sensao game as well. I think Irrelevant in this Abessa game, he did get caught out like 4 times in a row. So I feel like
you've disqualified him.
Yeah, kind of, no?
Well, you can vote at LEC on X. Let us know what you guys think. At the end of the day, maybe not the confident debut BDS we're looking for, but a win nonetheless. And for Rogue, they're sent back to the drawing board, hopefully with some good lessons. There was progress today.
Yeah, for sure, a much better look for them than their first game performance against Heretics. But still, just missing something in those like key areas.
They were what? Those
Drakes.
last 2 plays.
Yeah,
they were so close. We did talk about them being outscaled. Maybe they really felt like that pressure was on them. Like that had to be their moment.
Yeah.
Once VIKTOR was already at 2.5 items. Once he hits 3, maybe it just feels like it's impossible. But
yeah, I think also just the idea like when enemy has Nash, it's better to fight rather than get sieged down.
Yeah.
But it's just the Otacon reduced the resistances and you just get ran down by the Jhin.
The Jhin was very strong.
Yeah, he was very strong.
So hint, hint, ice foes. Maybe. Across the board, though, BDS shaky game 1 brought it back in the series. We'll see how they kind of develop over the course of the split. Curious if they can see if they can rise even greater than they have in the past, right? Top 4 was kind of the consistent expectation.
Yeah.
They rebuilt the roster, presumably with greater ambition. We need to see if that comes to fruition.
Yeah, I think just 1-1-3 on more carry-oriented picks I mean, we've hammered it home for sure.
Yeah,
But
yeah. They don't all have to rhyme. It's cool if they rhyme, but carries is the important part.
yeah, I feel like that it's just a much better look for BDS because I feel like 113 when he's on these Maokais, when he's on these Sejuanis, he doesn't really have the greatest engage brain.
Sometimes he finds the way. But for now, let's send it down to the victorious mid laner. Sjokz is standing by with Nuke.
Sounded a little like it was me, but it's Nuke actually in the Marriott Bonvoy. Post-game check-in, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Also, what was I watching?
Yeah, that was some special gameplay. I think both teams are not good today. But in the end we won, right? So, like...
A win is a win?
A win is a win, right? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I don't want to take anything away from it because it is important to win in that week 1, so we're just happy it's behind you and that you got off scot-free.
Yep.
Okay. That's a bad question, but
Okay.
you're right. You but I have something for you, actually.
Okay.
So yesterday, Vladi made a tier list in BGL, and I want to show it to you first. It'll be on the screen right there. You're in the A tier with Humanoid and Vladi himself. What do you think about that?
Vladi is really humble. I think he did. I mean, he could place himself in S. I think after his performance in winter, but I think it's like pretty accurate.
Okay.
I would place.
Wait, but you get to do it actually.
Okay.
So you get to do it yourself. So we're gonna get a clean slate in the mid lane tier list. So do you want to start with Vladi?
Yeah, sure. By respect of his gameplay, the last split I would put him on S.
Okay, S tier.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else in S tier?
I would put like. I would like to put Caps still because he's still like kind of our goat in this region. So we put Caps. I would put Humanoid and myself after.
An A?
Yeah.
Got a list if you forget someone. Larssen, you just played him.
Yeah, like C
C for Larssen. Okay.
with Ricker.
Uh-huh.
Then like Camilo, Jacques on B. And who am I missing?
Jojo?
Jojo. Like between B, A, I still think he's better than Camilo and Jacques. So I would place him like Humanoid me, then Jojo Pyun like B++.
Okay, and Nuke is an A, by the way.
Yeah, behind the Humanoid.
Chayak?
I think he improved a lot. Vitality overall, I think is a really strong team. I would put him like same tier as Jojo as well, like B+.
Okay, nice. So in between, so they have some growing to do. Okay, that's it, I think. That's 10. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Nuke. Anything you want to say about BDS this split? What can we expect?
Okay, it will maybe not be very clean every time, but we'll get wins.
Nice. I love it.
We'll get wins, we'll get.
Thank you very much, Nuke. It might not be pretty, but they'll get the wins. That's what we want. Next up is SK versus Fnatic when we come back.
Give me chaos. Never gonna settle for those boring plays, no way. Give me chaos. Never gonna feed, but we will create some space. Give me chaos. Greedy for the glory, so we're only chasing dreams. Making titles, trophies, highlights, international memes. Give me chaos.
Wait, is he switching lanes?